Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the campaign Believe in More. It is a campaign for the United Arab Emirates by Nike. So let's get started. Nike is an American multinational corporation that is engaged in the design, development, manufacturing, and worldwide marketing and sales of footwear, apparel, equipment, accessories, and services. The company is headquartered near Beaverton, Oregon, in the Portland metropolitan area. Its mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you are an athlete. Its vision is to remain the most authentic, connected, and distinctive brand. Nike's values are performance, authenticity, innovation, and sustainability. To continue, Nike is famous for its swoosh logo. It has become one of the most recognizable brand logos in the world. In 2018, Nike was the most valuable global apparel brand, having a worth of $28 billion. Also, Nike was the goddess of victory in Greek mythology. Nike is the world's largest supplier and manufacturer of athletic shoes, apparel, and other sports equipment. Nike is also known for taking strong stances on issues and for constantly challenging social norms. For example, its controversial Colin Kaepernick ad in 2018 sparked a lot of conversation in society, leading to a lot of word-of-mouth coverage about the brand. The main challenge Nike faces is that this generation is the least active ever, with girls even less so than boys. As you can see on the chart on the right, only 40% of people worldwide stated they exercised enough last year. That leaves the majority of the population feeling like they did not exercise enough throughout the year. People are not exercising as much, so Nike must find a way to inspire people to become more active to prevent a decline in sales. Nike saw an opportunity in the Middle East market to inspire women to get active regardless of obstacles and barriers they face and start their sports journey. Traditional hijabs prevent female athletes from competing at the highest level they could. So Nike capitalized on this opportunity to advance a conversation about hijabs and Muslim women in sport and make sports a more inclusive space. Nike decided to tackle issues of gender discrimination, living up to cultural traditions and societal expectations at the United Arab Emirates through its campaign Believe in More. So let's talk about the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates is made up of 7 emirates. However, the UAE has one flag, coat of arms, and national anthem despite its 7 emirates. The United Arab Emirates political system, according to the Constitution, is a constitutional federation. It is a federal presidential elected monarchy. It divides the power of the government into 5 federal authorities: the Supreme Council, the Executive Branch, the Cabinet, Federal National Council, and Judicial Authority. The UAE delegates some authority to the federation and retains other powers within each of the member emirates. The president and vice president are elected by the Federal Supreme Council, and citizens do not vote. A complex electoral college elects members to the Federal National Council, also known as the Majlis. It is important to note that roughly 6,700 member electoral college includes more than 1,000 women. There is also only 1 woman in the 40-member council. There are no legal political parties that exist in the United Arab Emirates. Moving on to the economic environment, the United Arab Emirates has an open economy, which is a type of economy where the domestic community and out have trade-in products. It is a high per capita income and a sizable annual trade surplus. UAE has the second largest economy in the Arab world, only trailing after Saudi Arabia. Its economic freedom status is mostly free and is ranked the 9th freest in the world, with a freedom score of 77.6 according to the 2019 Index of Economic Freedom. The strengths of the economy is its tax burden and fiscal health, and concerns include investment freedom and financial freedom. The United Arab Emirates ranks 23 out of 180 in the Corruption Perception Index. A country's rank indicates its position relative to other countries in the index, with 180 being the most corrupt. This means that bribery and corruption are uncommon, and the United Arab Emirates has an effective and efficient public administration. However, severe censorship within the media makes it difficult to estimate the extent of corruption in the country. Moving on to the literacy rate, the United Arab Emirates has a total literacy rate of 90.03%. Women have a higher literacy rate than men, with a rate of 91.47% and 89.48% respectively. As you can see, the literacy rate is increasing with time, and no data exists about the illiterate. Although the country enjoys a high literacy rate, as aforementioned, the United Arab Emirates media system is highly censored. The UAE's media outlets fall under government-owned umbrella groups as well as regulation by the National Media Council. It is classified as not free in the Freedom of Press Index with a Freedom Index of 133. There is no independent media and dissidents are persecuted. The United Arab Emirates Constitution guarantees free speech, but under the 1980 law on printed matter and publications, the authorities can censor local and foreign publications if they criticize domestic policies, the economy, the ruling families, religion, or the UAE's relations with its allies. 0 citizens, citizen journalists, and media assistants were killed in 2019. However, bloggers are subject to arrest and long jail terms and mistreatment in prison. Political and social content is blocked by the National Media Council. More specifically, the major types of UAE media are print press, radio, television, internet, and social media. Television has the most reach in the United Arab Emirates among all age groups. To continue, media reach varies based on the age group. Magazines and books have less reach than TV, internet, radio, and newspapers. Internet user penetration in 2018 was 95% via Freedom House. The UAE is one of the world's most connected countries. As of December of 2017, there were over 1.3 million internet subscribers in the country, 99% of whom had broadband connections. Furthermore, 96% of internet users are on mobile. Regarding social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and YouTube have high penetration. Let's move into Hafsi's cultural dimensions. In power distance, the United Arab Emirates ranks at 90. The UAE scores high on this dimension, which means that people accept the hierarchical order in which everybody has a place, which needs no further justification. In individualism, the degree of interdependence a society maintains among its members, the UAE scores at 25. This score indicates that the United Arab Emirates is considered a collectivistic society. In collectivist societies, people belong to in-groups that take care of them in exchange for loyalty. The culture in UAE is driven by family values. The society fosters strong relationships where everybody takes responsibility for members of their groups. To continue, masculinity describes what motivates people, either wanting to be best, which is masculine, or liking what you do, which is feminine. UAE scores 50 on this dimension and can be considered neither feminine or masculine. Moving on to uncertainty avoidance, UAE has a score of 80 and thus has a high preference for avoiding uncertainty. UAE maintains rigid codes of belief and behavior and is intolerant of unorthodox behavior and ideas. The UAE culture is structured in a way where people feel threatened by ambiguous or unknown situations and have created beliefs and institutions that try to avoid uncertainty. Finally, there are no scores available for long-term orientation and indulgence for the UAE. So now that we've talked about both entities, let's go through the SWOT analysis. Starting with the strengths, Nike has a strong brand image. As I mentioned before, Nike was the most valuable brand in 2018 and its swoosh logo was highly recognizable. Nike has great distribution and global production enables the business to support the global market dominance. Its rapid innovation processes are a core factor in Nike's ability to create cutting-edge designs for its items. It also offers diverse products from sports equipment to shoes to athletic wear. Regarding the weaknesses, Nike has poor working conditions which continue to plague Nike's business, especially in production facilities in developing countries. This negatively impacts the company's brand image. Also, although Nike has expanded its product mix throughout the years, the resulting product lines are still limited on the footwear industry. Finally, Nike's high prices make its growth in developing countries limited, and counterfeit products lead to a loss of exclusivity regarding Nike's products. Ultimately, Nike must improve its labor conditions, work on product mix development, and penetration development in developing markets. These weaknesses leave Nike with numerous opportunities. First, Nike can improve its labor conditions for its employees. This will remove the negative brand association regarding the workforce. To continue, Nike can expand its product line to include more accessories. They can also capitalize on mass customization to make their products better appeal to customers. Nike can also focus on emerging markets and benefit from these markets' high growth potential. Finally, let's talk about the threats. Nike faces competition from competitors like Adidas, Reebok, and Under Armour. Also, people may counterfeit Nike products, which can diminish the authenticity of the brand and the desire for a Nike product if it's not as exclusive. The economy also poses a threat to Nike. The ongoing recession has had customers more price conscious and retailers demanding higher margins. The same exists in other countries around the world. Now let's move on to audiences. Our primary audience was young Arab women aged 18 to 34 years old. More specifically, Arab athletes that struggle due to cultural barriers and those who live in urban areas. Some secondary audiences are the Arab youth, people in the United Arab Emirates with strong traditional values, the fashion industry, Nike customers, and media from other countries. According to Business Insider, Nike has 3 consumer groups that it focuses on most: women, young athletes, and runners, which made the United Arab Emirates a perfect market to capitalize on. Nike targets women in their 20s and 30s who are largely driving the athleisure trend. Limited information exists on Nike's customer profile in the United Arab Emirates. Moving on to the audience psychographics, in the United Arab Emirates, Islam is the basis of their culture and their society, and it shows in their political system, their way to dress, their culture, and their lifestyle. To continue, the youth in the United Arab Emirates especially value traditional values, but they also understand the importance of balancing modern culture into their ways of life. The UAE is ranked as a leading country in gender equality, which continues to impact society in the United Arab Emirates. Finally, family is of high importance in the UAE, which goes hand in hand with the collectivist culture that exists. Here is a video of the Believe in More campaign that Nike funded in the United Arab Emirates.
ايش حيقولوا عنك؟ انك مو المفروض تكوني هنا، انه ده مو ليكي، انه دي ما هي لعبتك، او يمكن يقولوا انك قوية، انه ما حد يقدر يوقفك، انك حتلاقي طريقك، انك قدهم، انك ابهرتيهم. او يمكن يقولوا انك حتصيري شيء كبير.
So to talk more about the campaign is called What Will They Say About You? So this is a common question to females in the Middle East when they are seen trying to do something outside of the traditional role of a female. The campaign asks this question and then proceeds to highlight 5 prominent Muslim athletes, and they use the hashtag Believe in More to represent this idea that girls are capable of doing anything. So for the timetable, the campaign was released on the Nike Woman channel on YouTube in February 2017, and then it was sent out again with the title in English 2 days before International Women's Day, and the announcement of the Nike Pro hijab. Then on October 2017, the hijab was released on a runway in Dubai, and then in September 2019, they did a collection with the Toronto Raptors. So for the supporting messages, it was released in a time of the rise of Islamophobia and the banning of facial coverings, which includes hijabs. Nike was trying to show that they are on the side of inclusivity. So this chart on the right shows countries that either have a partial ban or a total ban on facial coverings. Hijabs also do slow athletes down. The weight of the traditional material makes it hard to sweat in and just be athletic in. And Nike wanted to show that this doesn't have to slow females down from participating in sports. It's highly regulated in the Middle East, and girls in the UAE did not participate in the Olympics until 2008. So the goals of the campaign were to promote the Nike Pro hijab, which is more suitable to sports, and to empower women in the Middle East. So the output objectives were to generate views for the campaign video with the target audience. As it was mostly showed on YouTube, they wanted to get the views on the video, and they wanted to prompt sales of the Nike Pro hijab. For the impact objectives, the informational was to increase Muslim women athletes' awareness of the benefits of the Nike Pro hijab, as well as the company's stance on women empowerment. For attitudinal, they want to challenge tradition in the Middle East about women's capabilities, and behavioral was to increase activity, especially in sports. For their strategies, they did a collaboration with the Saudi designer Mashail Al-Rajhi collection in the UAE. So they, in the picture in the top photo on the right, you can see that the hijab was used on the runway. They did a collection with the Toronto Raptors. So in the photo in the photo below, you can see they used the Toronto Raptors sign on their hijab, and they did the partnership with the women athletes in their video. So they did it with a parkour trainer, a figure skater, a pop singer, a fencer, and a boxer. For implementation, they used pretty much just social media. As we said before, this is one of the most effective ways of reaching this market. So they did the campaign on YouTube, and they also posted about it on their other sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and they used the website to sell the product, as well as doing a short feature about the campaign. So evaluation. So for their output objective to generate views for the campaign, they received millions of views on their YouTube videos. They received more views on their one in Arabic, which shows that they did do a better job of reaching that target market. And the Nike Pro hijab was ranked number 7 on the world's most popular fashion items in 2019. And it also received over 800,000 impressions on social media. For the evaluation of the impact objectives, to increase Muslim women athletes' awareness of the benefits of the Nike Pro hijab. So the Nike Pro hijab sales have been growing. In the last sales quarter, it went up by 125%. And every time I personally have checked on the website, it's always sold out. So the responses to the campaign were mixed. Many people thought that they were showing that they were inclusive and trying to get more females involved in sports, but many people also thought that they were supporting the oppression of women. So these are some screen grabs of tweets about the campaign. One main question that was asked was, is the Nike Pro hijab leading to female empowerment, or is it hindering it? So here you can see two sides of the responses. And they also used the hashtag boycott Nike for those who were opposed to the campaign. So for their impact objective to increase activity, especially in sports among Muslim women, it's hard to say because the campaign was only released 2 years ago. This is a chart that shows the difference between the hours a week that they exercise in the Middle East from 2017 to 2018. So there isn't too much of a difference, so it is hard to say, but that's something that Nike could look into in the future. So to recap, Nike's campaign used mostly YouTube and other social media sites to promote the release of their hijab, as well as the company's stance on inclusivity. The campaign and product received mixed reviews, but it was mostly successful in generating sales of the hijab. As sales for it are still growing, and it did receive a high ranking on the most popular fashion items. So some key takeaways are that challenging tradition can result in mixed reviews, but can be successful, as can be seen with their success of the hijab. Research is important when designing a campaign or product, so this comes to play when researching the best method of targeting their audience, which was social media, and as well as designing the hijab, like the material they used. They worked with the athletes that were featured in their video to talk about this, so especially when dealing with cultural barriers, that's really important. and to understand the extent of a country's use of social media. As we said, that's one of the most effective ways of reaching this audience, but that can't be said for all regions of the world, so that's really important when doing a campaign. Some recommendations are that Nike should address the backlash directly. So they haven't responded to most of the tweets or done any press releases about the controversy of the campaign, so that could be something they should look into. They should also do more research on the actual impact of the campaign to get a better measurement of success. So seeing, how many more females are participating in sports, especially in the Middle East, and work more to target Muslim women outside of the Middle East. So the campaign was done mostly in the Middle East, so maybe more women in Europe or in America who are Muslim and would also be interested in purchasing the hijab. So to get to the circuit of culture, for representation, the video conveyed meaning through storytelling. So using the 5 athletes and telling their stories of pushing boundaries. For identity, the meaning was internalized by the audience who watched the campaign. And then for production, through the video campaign, as well as the product creation in the hijab. Consumption has to do with all the discussions that came out of the video, as well as the consumers who actually purchased the hijab and are using it in their everyday lives. And regulation, certain cultures who do not allow hijab, so that has to do with the campaign and the use of it, and as well as the cultural barriers, as well as how females are viewed in the Middle East. So this is our Works Cited page. Thank you all for watching.